What's up, guys? I am having a hard time actually finding the live crypto summit here. So I'll be on the hunt with you guys to see what's going on. But basically, yeah, that's the. I'm just literally been hunting around trying to find the live event. I'm seeing some that are potentially upcoming here when I'm looking up on YouTube, and when I look it up on Google, I don't find anything either. So I'm just trying to keep pressing that refresh button until hopefully it pops up. But I can't seem to find anything. Did you guys find anything? What's up, Crypto Pollo? How you doing, man? Thanks for jumping in the chat. Secrets uncovered. Make it rain. Yeah. All right, cool. I brought popcorn and everything. I'm probably going to lower my desk because it's going to be like apparently a 4-hour crypto summit. So I'll be lowering my desk to sit down for a little bit. You haven't found anything either? I hear ya. Let's see. Let's see what the NBC News live updates. That doesn't seem to do with it. Love it. Okay, so let's go back to the YouTube side of the fence. Refresh it here. Maybe something will pop up. And what to expect? White House first ever crypto summit. Is this it? I don't know. Or is this a scam site? There are sometimes when you see these live events, they'll have like these scam versions that will try to get you to buy a currency or something shady like that. I'll pull this one up on the side here. See what we get. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. Could it be on X? That's good. Good point. We'll check it out on X and see if we can find it there. X.com. I'm following 3 different language on YouTubers and they all can't find it either, eh? Yeah, okay, so I don't feel as dumb here. Oh, we got Tom Crown doing his live too. Let's see if he's found it. Doesn't look like it, eh? No. CoinDesk, they're reacting to it, and they're just showing a price feed. It says it's set to start at 1:30. Stay tuned. Okay, well, it's set to start at 1:30. They're just running behind. That's the thing with these lives, right? Sometimes issues happen. It's the first one they ever had, so. Love your thumbnail. That thumbnail, I'm going to tell you one thing about that thumbnail. My computer was like, I was on my laptop, and I was trying to get it ready for this live on time, but my computer kept like crashing out on me. So I whipped that together. That's the fastest editing I've ever done in my life. Just like, so if it doesn't look great, that's why. Well, we can look at the charts and see how the charts are reacting to basically the live not really working out until we get it to actually play out for us. But from what I'm looking at right now, we got an apex point between uptrending momentum and downtrending momentum right here, where these 2 white lines are. Our apex point's right here. And typically, when you're trading structure like this, we break out about 30% prior to actually reaching the apex point in the crypto space. In the stock market, sometimes they'll consolidate right to it and then have a high volume event and start chasing after usually the side that has the most liquidity. And I'll let you know right now that most of the liquidity is like right here at 95,152. There's a ton of liquidity resting right above that wick. So I'd be careful trading during the live when it actually occurs, because it's probably going to act a lot like an FOMC event, like sell the news slash pump and dump crazy wild reactions. So just be cautious when you're jumping in. You can still like look at the lower time frames and see like key levels that need to be broken to help assist you with your like setups if you're already in one. But while it's active, I'd just be a little cautious with it. But yeah, we've had the news of the Bitcoin reserve, which is exciting. The moment we got the news, we had this massive sell-off, and then basically a rebuy that brought us right back up to where the sell-off began. And now, yeah, we're still just consolidating inside this little valley area here. So I'm going to update that valley area data, and maybe we'll start seeing that live coming up shortly. I'm going to keep going back and forth between like the YouTube search and Twitter search and Google search and see if we can find it, populate eventually. What do we got in the chat? I heard he's going to talk at 3. Yeah, that's probably Trump's position. He's going to start talking at 3, but I think that they're going to have other people speaking as well. Maybe along now, since we are holding above the 1 hour MA, moving average shouldn't be the only thing you use to help define an entry, but it is definitely a form of confluence. You can prepare for longs because of that. I use a lot of EMAs as bias control. Like if we are below an EMA, with some of my strategies, I'll use like a 500 EMA, for example, as bias control. So if we're below it, I'll do mostly shorts. If we're above it, I'll do mostly longs. Stuff like that. Is Trump going to want to talk about karma? Yeah, that'd be great. Well, Bitcoin pumping or dumping is going to impact the BNB price action, because BNB has a lot of Bitcoin pairing liquidity, and that will in turn impact karma. But karma's got a lot of relative strength. It moves when it wants to move. While everything else was crashing yesterday, like karma was pumping. So yeah, karma pumped like 30% since the 4th. So we've got some relative strength against the market. We're kind of immune to like bull market and bear market conditions, other than the fact about how bull market will have more funds involved in the space to help people be able to buy an asset like karma, and vice versa during the bear market. Special Trump, send 1 Ethereum, he sends 2 back. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, stay away from those scams. If you ever see that kind of stuff, guys, where like you're seeing a scam, basically they're saying like, we'll send us X amount and we'll send you double amount or triple amount, stuff like that. It's 100% a scam. It's obviously a scam, so don't touch it. All right. What's up, Altcoin Corey? How you doing, man? All right, let's take a peek at. Let's do another Google search here. Refresh this. See if anything pops up. Nothing there yet. How do you guys feel about them using the funds that they seized to be a part of the Bitcoin reserve for the US there? They seized about, now they have like 200,000 Bitcoin, but they didn't buy it. They're like claiming it as their own now, which is better than them planning on selling it. Like they were planning on selling it for years, and now they're like, we're not going to sell it anymore. We're going to keep it. So that just removes the sell pressure of 200,000 Bitcoin. Let's go back here and refresh and see if we could find. White House, crypto summit. It's going to seem kind of bearish if they don't even go live. It looks like it's being switched to potentially 3 o'clock, like you guys were saying. Like they're just gonna push it to 3. And if it's going on for 4 hours, then that would be like going on to like 7 p.m. I'm more curious about what Michael Saylor's going to say live in the White House. If he's going to either physically be there or be there virtually, it doesn't really matter, because like I think he's going to help with the communication gap on what Bitcoin actually is for all the people that watch it and don't understand it. They have a really good lineup of people talking. Bitcoin's like trying to get acceptance into the value area again. We're coming in at the value area low. Once we get that proper acceptance with our first break of structure in there, then we can start seeing a potential rotation back up to the value area high. But we got to watch the momentum guard here. So we had the momentum here hold us up, and then we got a rejection off of here. So if we come back up, we can see it act as a form of resistance. And we can use the order books to validate that and see if there's sellers there or not. So let's go pull that up. And we're looking for a sell wall, not just regular sell orders. What do we have? We got some small walls, nothing crazy, no high confidence. We got a little bit of confidence at like 88,620. But it's like 100 Bitcoin, nothing wild. 88,620. So let's mark that on our chart at least. And so we get a horizontal line. Now we'll double click on it, get our coordinates. It's 88,620. Okay, so it's just this supply concern here. That's why it's so small then. We've got there's just small impulse move, built a base here, another impulse move, like expressing this as a supply barrier, and we're hitting it as resistance already. So we likely had the sell wall here already before in the past. We chipped at that armor, and now we're coming up to get the rest of that sell wall for a potential continuation. But yeah, we got that like cuff and handle behavior. So we just got to combat that tiny little sell wall that we got left, which will probably only take one more tap. We got the confluence of the VWAP. So I'm guessing our next test, if we break past this, we will start rotating up to this next little 5-minute order block and the momentum confluence for our next little consolidation before we have that continuation. Hi from New Zealand. Nice. How you doing, man? Welcome to the party. We're just waiting on them to start their lives in the crypto summit. Until then, we're just gonna chill and wait it out. Let's see what we get. It's our current key level right here that we want to have broken for that continuation. But we can just use the horizontal line I've got already because we know that there's a sell wall there anyways. I would prefer like a candle to close, like a full body candle to close above this location, so we know that we have a confirmed price acceptance and that sell wall is like been destroyed, and we'll have a close above the VWAP and confluence with that, and acceptance into the value area and confluence with that. So we got a lot of confluences if we just get a candle close above 88,620, and we can potentially get that rotation up to here, but we got to be mindful of these barrier concerns here. So I'm not going to be trading anyways. So I just want to let you guys know, like, if you are in on a position, especially off like double bottom structure here, that's what you should be looking out for if you want to have that continuation. Can we look at XRP too? Yeah. Well, it'd be a good idea to have the charts open for Bitcoin, XRP, Solana, Cardano, any of the ones that are going to be part of the reserve, especially during this summit, right? So let's get that all set up. So I'll get my Bitcoin chart over here. Let's get the XRP open and we'll take a look at XRP for you there, man. XRP's got some awkward relative strength. It's doing its thing. Right now we're resting off of this previous point of control as support. And we've been fighting against the value area high. So from this consolidation here, we built a value area that helped us guide us through our future trades through here, right? We had, for example, the value area low, which we should mark right here. Oh, my bad. Previous value area low, previous value area high, point of control. And we can see how the price action used the value area high as like resistance, resistance, came down to the value area low. We dipped down below it, had it act as resistance again. And as soon as we broke through it, we blasted off like a psychopath during that wild move that we had before. But it definitely would have helped you with the setup over here, because we had this downturning momentum break after bouncing off the value area low. And when that broke in confluence with the point of control, you could target the value area high. We double topped. Now we fell down to the point of control, and we're using it right now as support. And we're kind of getting like a double bottom structure here. Potentially, if we break this neckline, we might see a rotation back up to grab the liquidity that was just added to here. But nothing here that I would touch in terms of trading. But yeah, that's what we're seeing right now, man. We're still holding off with XRP on the previous all-time high. The longer we hold above this like green box zone here, if we zoom out on the daily, this previous all-time high, it allows XRP to give us a strong reset, where we're getting all the old investors out, new investors in, and kind of gives us a strong reset for a potential continuation to the upside. So we got to hold up here. So this acts as a strong level of support in the future. We could actually pull this value area and include it into this entire range now. So I'm going to update all that information. We got that here, this here, and we have the point of control of the more macro range included in that micro value area here that we were looking at when we were on the 15-minute time frame. So long as we hold above and use this value area as support and not as resistance, we will be XRP will be great. All right, so we got this chart ready. Let's go to Cardano and see what it's up to. Oh, is that summit happening? Oh yeah, we're hoping for it. We're still waiting on it to populate in somewhere for us to find it. Live now on Fox soon. This looks like a reliable potential source. Nothing there. Let's do another refresh on the Google search. Why is Kyle not going to be trading? Oh yeah, I'm not going to be trading. I'm treating this like an FOMC event. There might be some whipsaw candles that will just knock you right out of the game, so it's best not to touch it. Now let's take a peek at this link here. This bit here. Stand by for live video. Now, I'm going to do a test first with you guys. I want to make sure you can actually hear my desktop. Oh, okay, I can turn on desktop audio. All right, we got that candle break. All right, that sell wall is gone. It has been defeated. So now we can expect potential rotation to the value area high at 90,800. You just got to watch out for the point of control here. We're kind of like in a pretty dangerous spot to trade anyways. Just be really cautious. If you got in during the deviation down here, then great. But be cautious trading, especially when this live event's about to occur. I don't see anything here yet. Let's refresh. CoinDesk, what do you got? Nothing. Okay, you guys can hear that, right? Their little elevator music. Have a safe, a good day. Thanks, Dylan. Appreciate it, man. All right, let's close this thing down. All right. So we got that close on the 5-minute. We're above the VWAP. So we got some bullish confluence now that help give us that rotation up. XRP is still doing his thing. How's Cardano doing? Let's zoom out a bit. So Cardano's got some relative weakness compared to XRP. Maintain this downtrend. Its neckline to its double bottom structure is flush with the previous value area low. We have a large previous value area right here that helped influence the price action for Cardano. So when we had that massive pump alongside with everything else, it hit its value area high as resistance and then just started plummeting right back down. So now we're kind of like dancing near that previous value area low. Oh, we got someone from Australia. Welcome to the party, man. XRP best for trade if Bitcoin breaks out. It can move 10% in 5 minutes. Oh yeah, it's a smaller market cap, so it has a higher probability of giving you that larger percentage gain, but it comes with larger percentage risk. XRP's structural guard is only like it's way down here. So if you want to have a stop loss that's protected, it'd be way down here, man. So just be aware of that. Unless we get like a retest of this neckline, and that gives us a small pullback, and then a break of structure, then you can use that new strong low as your stop loss guard rather than way down here. Because if you're getting the measurable base target from this double bottom structure, which isn't that dependable because of its placement being near the value area high, just be aware that like its momentum based move is about $2.75, and that's about, yeah, you're right, pretty close, 7% move, targeting the liquidity above this area right here. And we can validate if liquidity is resting there using the heat maps. So if you guys want, we can look at the liquidity heat maps for XRP to help validate that and see how much is there too. Let's pull up. So on the liquidation heat map chart, you click on symbol. On the right hand side, we're going to click on XRP. I'm going to go back to the XRP chart to see how old that is. So over here, from where we are, is 4 days and 4 hours. So we need to look back as far as 4 days and 4 hours to be able to see that. So we're going to look at the weekly. Yeah, so we have some liquidity there, but it looks like the large majority of it is way up here at $2.99. So if you're a market maker, you would likely go after the $2.99 or at least the $2.66 area. So that's flush with our value area high. So we have tons of confluence with the value area high potentially acting as resistance if the market makers are going to be using that as exit liquidity. But we could have a move through this and then a very quick move to 299 if we get a continuation past that zone. So here we're going to need to see continuation structure to help define that that move to 299. But we do know there's tons of liquidity there, so we have reason to go up there to take it. We got plenty of exit liquidity here though. So this double bottom measurable base target could be enough. Does he announce when he enters the trades? I have not seen that. I think Suit might skyrocket. Oh yeah, I'll announce when I enter trades. Just a matter of whether or not we get a safe one. That's all. All right, here. So the structure I want to see again is something like this. Just make sure we have the proper risk to reward ratio for XRP if you're wanting to jump in on it. There's the pathing tool here. Hit, pull back, higher high. And then full body candle close above neckline. Stop loss guard below the strong low. And then you can target up here for at least roughly a 1 to 2.7 risk to reward ratio. But that all depends on what kind of strong low guard we get. We need to make sure that it actually does provide us that 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio. Because right now, the only strong low guard that we got is way down here. And that doesn't give us the proper risk to reward ratio. So 1 to 1. You want to be risking to lose $100 to try to gain $200 or more. You don't want to be trying to risk $100 to gain $100 or less. Doesn't make any sense. So we just need that proper structure. Now Cardano, it has reasoning to go up beyond its double bottom neckline because of liquidity confluence. So when we have downturning momentum like this, every single time we have like a retest to the momentum, it's an area where you can prepare for liquidity. Let me just move this out of the way. So up here's all stacked liquidity along the way up. And we can also validate that. I'm sure there's a bunch right here using the liquidation heat map. So let's pull up Cardano. And let's see how old that structure is. Oh, we don't need to. Okay, we got it all in here. So you see how we got all that stacked liquidity along the way up. That's going to make it relatively easy for Cardano to move up to that location. So we got lots of confluence to go up. If you're a market maker and you're trying to find an area where it's easier for you to exit your position, you have to look for areas where there's liquidity, right? And it's very cold below us. So the bias of the market maker is bullish. So they would try to induce the break around 89 cents. And once they induce that break, they're going to depend on retail to push it up. And then they're going to prepare to exit where most of the weighted liquidity is, which is right now is at 101,366. So if you're thinking like a market maker, that's your target, 101,366. Because that's where they're going to be able to exit with the least amount of slippage. So you can mark that on your chart here. And our key level that we want to see that break. What did I just do? I don't know where that went. 101.3. There we go. So that's where most of the weighted liquidity is, right where that orange line is. And our key level that needs to be broken for that continuation is here. That's where we'll get our change of character. So again, similar to XRP, we need to have an internal break of structure. It'll probably give us something like this where we come up, break the momentum, retest the previous value area low as resistance, pull back to the momentum, higher high, and then you got that confirmation where you can jump in the trade, stop loss below the strong low, and then ride it up towards that technical target. So we need something like that too for Cardano. So let's pull that up, draw a pathing tool, break, retest, higher high. Long position tool out, something like this. And so if you're picky and you're trying to pick a trade between XRP and Cardano right now, based on the data that we have, after looking at the liquidity heat maps, you would pick the one that has the best risk-reward ratio or the least amount of barriers. XRP has the least amount of barriers, but has a lower risk-reward ratio. But Cardano has a much better risk-reward ratio. Kyle, can you do a market cap evaluation of AKT? Pretty sure I did it wrong. It came up with $1.28. Yeah, I could do that. And I appreciate the tip, man. You didn't have to give me a tip to ask that. Okay. All right, let's do that. Since we're waiting anyways. See if we got anything here. Nothing there yet. Refresh here. I feel like we clicked on that already. That's the same link, right? It's the exact same link, yeah. Okay. All right, we'll look at AKT, man. It'll help anyone who's like newer to do to find out how to do a market cap evaluation as well. My life is buffering. There we go. Okay. I'm going to turn the volume on this so we can actually hear it start as soon as it starts. All right, so we're looking at, you said AKT, right? Yeah, AKT. USDT. Akash network. That's a good one to do, yeah. So I'm going to look at it on the daily. All right, cool. Yeah, something must have went wrong here, bro. But yeah, let's take a look. So I'm going to go over to CoinMarketCap. And we're going to look up 8KT. What's up, Alex Crypto? How you doing, man? We are just doing some TA while we're waiting on this live that may or may not happen with the crypto summit. It's just, they're taking a little while to get it started. There's rumors of it starting at 3, so we might be chilling for an hour just doing TA. We got Akash network, right? AKT. Okay, there it is. And right now we're doing market cap analysis on AKT. We're going to find out the inflationary damage from this asset so we can define like how much interest needs to get from its previous all-time high to, yeah, we'll go over that. So we got its all-time high over here on the left. Let's see if you guys can see it in your chart. Yeah, you guys can see it. Okay. Its all-time high was on April 6th, 4 years ago. April 6th, 2021. It was at $8.08 at the time. So I'm going to click on see historical data. And then over here on the right, I'm going to look for April 6th, 2021. There we go, April 6th, so April 1st to 8th, continue. And we're looking for the highest market cap day, so it'll be around April 6th or April 7th. So yeah, here, April 7th, we have the highest market cap registered. So what we'll do is we'll put that number inside of the calculator. Once it wants to load. I chose a bad day to wear the sweater. It's pretty hot in here. Let's go back to the Kosh network now. And now we're going to look for the total supply. So we got here's the total supply. You want to hover your mouse over top of it so you can get the full number. Control C. And we're going to divide that into the market cap. And that's going to give us a price. $132. Yeah, I got the same thing, man. So this thing's been hit hard with inflation. Really, really hard. Since its last all-time high. That's pretty wild. So basically, if you were to think about it this way, it has already met the same amount of interest that it did from its previous all-time high. It has the same amount of money that it did from its previous all-time high, which is intense. And that's not that long ago. Like, so maybe they did a adjustment to their tokenomics. I haven't seen anything like that in a while. That's like Luna crash stuff. I'm not saying Akash Network's a bad asset, but that's intense. So just be aware that it pretty much has the same amount of money that it did from its previous all-time high. I'd look deep into the Akash Network tokenomics, man, to see what's going on there. They might have a aggressive reward system or something with no burning or dementing. Hey guys, I just dismissed my class and hopped on. Did I miss anything major? Nothing crazy. No, we're still waiting for this summit to actually start. I feel like they did a little bait and switch on us. It was supposed to start on at 1:30, like 45 minutes ago, and now we're seeing reports for it not to start until 3. There's some feeds already trying to prepare for the live. Let's go back to Twitter and see what's got going on there. Alex Beckers. That's Alex Beckers, baby. I found your stream, but you talking nice. Oh, thanks, man. Can you check Quant? Please, I still have 1K of it since $58. All right, cool. Yeah, we can take a look at Quant. Oh, we got time to burn while we're waiting for these guys to go live. So QNT. I wonder if we have a QNT chart. We might have a QNT chart. Pull it up. If not, oh, there we go. We do got a QNT chart. Last time we looked at it was June 3rd. Surprising. Man, time flies. I feel like I just looked at it like a couple weeks ago. Let's see what our TA looked like when we were like back on June 3rd, what we were preparing for at that time. Let's go to the 4 hour. So you bought it around $50. So you got it right before the big spike. You did a good job, man. So there was that big move down up to like a 171. Now it's consolidating back down. We had some key areas that looked like we were looking at over here. So we were trading it quite aggressively back here, but doesn't look like we haven't really touched it since. So I'm going to get rid of some of this noise so it's easier for you guys to see this chart. Yeah, lots of noise. There we go. Well, this kind of gives us an opportunity to like reset some things on this thing anyways. we're going to leave this as a key area, this green line right here at the bottom. If that breaks, we could tell already if we had like a visible range volume profile indicator over here that this would be a huge spike, along with right here. So this is basically a volume shelf. We have a key area here, which we could keep, but yeah. So I'm going to just mark this as local resistance. And we're going to draw over here a little bit. We've got downtrending momentum. We had this pretty aggressive spike through here, and then we started to maintain a pace of momentum here where a lot of sellers are consistently selling along a trend line. So what I would do if you are trading quant actively, just watch this trend line and see if there are sell orders in the order book chasing it, like updating every passing day or so, and see if it's going to be causing a squeeze against previous support right here. So I'll mark this low area as local support and just prepare for a potential squeeze event if we maintain this pace all the way down to this area as potential support where we get that reversal. Maybe we'll get a rotation back up to 151. We have an area of consolidation here that we should mark as a value area. So from here to here. And we can see that we previously used this value area high as support. What we don't want to see, especially if you bought it around $50, man, is 75.50 is a key area that you want to have hold, or else it could quickly come right back down to that $50 level again. So I would mark a little triangle over here, because this is the zone where we could potentially have a reversal. Right now, our key area is pretty high. This is the daily time frame, so it's way up here. If this breaks, then we have a solid chance of reversal, assuming that it breaks with a full body candle, because we have this wick right here. It's because our change of character doesn't technically occur until we break that high. But if we get price acceptance here, we at least rotate, likely to grab the liquidity here and potentially get a reversal off of it. So you'd have to babysit the trade if you decide to enter off a full body candle up here at 101.80. The hourly time frame, if we rotate down here, we can see we have consistent momentum internally. We can draw from here to here. So we can expect a potential like internal move, potentially off this value area high at 75.20. We bounce, and at this point, I'm expecting resistance here or a confluence off of here. So that could happen simultaneously, right? We could hit this as simultaneous resistance right here. So we'd have a slow climb to that. And sometimes when that stuff happens, you'll feel like you live in a simulation. You'll get used to it the more you trade. But yeah, that's our confluence crossing point right there. And then we have local support here that can now act as local resistance. But it's moving a lot like Cardano used to, like back in the day before it got wild. Cardano, if you're a trend trader, Cardano used to be like one of the best assets to trend trade. But now it's kind of like all over the place. It would pick a direction and go hard that direction for a while. So again, same reason why we'd like box this zone over here with this area on the daily. We could do the same thing here where we can prepare for a potential setup from here to here. And you can look left, see where the wicks are. If you're an SFP trader, these are zones where liquidity can be taken, and you can mark it. I recommend using the magnet tool on the left-hand side when you're doing this, so you can get it right stuck onto that wick, and it prevents you from making accidental mistakes when you're preparing for setups. So if you're an SFP trader, I'd prepare around 72.70, where we can kind of see price action dip down below this value area, grab it, and then run up. So that's Quant. I hope that helps you out, man. So again, if you're just a holder, 75.20, you do not want to see that act as resistance, because if it does, that is acceptance into that value area that we were talking about before. So go back to the 4 hour. This is the value I'm talking about. We don't want to have acceptance into that value area, or else we can see it drop down to its value area low around 59.50. Okay, we did that on the Quant chart, so we can just save this, and then we'll move back towards Bitcoin. Let's take a refresh on Google and see if we got any live action. Kyle, can you explain again why logarithmic mode is better for trend lines? I would love to, yeah. So logarithmic mode is the easiest button you could press. See where the price feed is here on the right hand side? You'll see an A and you'll see an L. A stands for auto. What it does with auto is it tries to fit the candles on your screen the most conveniently way possible. Let's start a brand new chart, and this might blow some people's minds. This button, this L button, I've seen countless times. Like, traders have been trading for like years, like 4 or 5 years, not realizing that their trend lines have been lying to them because they didn't have logarithmic mode turned on. Let's start a brand new chart. So create new layout. Just log lesson. And let's go to Bitcoin's daily. We're on Quant here. All right, we're going to Bitcoin's daily. We're going to zoom out. Let's draw a trend line that pretty much everyone in the world will know exists. So we're on auto mode now, which is the default mode that most charting platforms will put you on. And we're going to draw a trend line from here to here. Right? That seems right. We've got a test here, we got a test here, we got a test here. However, we're on auto mode, which means it's going to try to compress the candles not based on its percentage-based moves. You want to have it move, the candles gapped properly based on the percentage-based moves, so it gives you like accurate candlesticks. And if I were to click, let me just adjust this so you guys can see it a little bit clearer. Right? If I were to click back on logarithmic mode, you'll see that this is actually how it's fitted to everyone else who's trading. It's completely lying to you. So you could be jumping in on a breakout of a trend line, which I don't usually recommend anyways. You should be doing it based on market structure and using trend lines as a warning tool, not as an entry tool. You can definitely use them as exit tools, but not entry tools. So instead now, if I adjust the trend line, we can see that the bull market condition actually started here when we broke this downtrending momentum, used it as support, and got a higher high, and then we ran off to the upside. You would have gotten burned thinking that it was around here, right? Because that's where it drew to. We drew it down to here, where this little test was. And you would have entered, and then it would have destroyed you. Then started running up. How many times does that happen to you guys, where you enter a trade, hit your stop loss, and then it runs up? It's because of stuff like this. You got to be using strong lows and make sure you have everything set to logarithmic, because that small little button I've seen increase people's win rate by up to 20%. It's pretty intense. And now we got the same kind of conditions here, where you can just watch the momentum of the market here to the upside. But if you were to draw that on auto mode, I guarantee you it would lie to you. So that's why you have logarithmic turned on. It's one of the very first lessons we have in the course. Something simple that can help you improve your win rate. Oh man, XRP is consolidating now to go up. Thanks for pointing that out, man. Let's see. Take a look. Okay, we got one red candle. We're almost there, yeah. So we're testing right now with XRP against this potential previous level of support as resistance. So it's inevitable that we might still have some buyers here that got in that now want to try to get out because they got they're holding probably like 3 through this. So that's usually why we meet previous levels like this and have them honored as a form of resistance when they were once support. Or it could be sellers as well. You can use order block confluence to tell you like if there are sellers that could still be in the market that are trying to fill their remaining position. Cardano, what are you doing, man? All right, so let's set some alarms so we don't miss out on stuff. I'm going to set an alarm for when price action crosses this downtrending momentum on Cardano. So I want once per bar close. I don't want it to be alert when we test it, unless you're preparing for a short. Then you would want to have an alert for when we test it. So we can, I'm going to do once per bar close, ADA, potential long. And let's make the notification sound for Cardano a whale. We got tons of whales on there. Create. Done. All right. So now we got our little alert for when price action closes above this. A quick question, not related to anything you're talking about now, but what is the best way to learn how to use the indicators in the 11x bundle? There currently isn't a best way to learn, but what I plan on doing very, very, very soon is creating a playlist of videos on YouTube to teach you guys how to use their bundle, because they're very valuable tools. And yeah, so I'll just be posting like a free little mini course on YouTube so you guys can learn how to use their indicators. Kyle, don't a lot of alts look bad on the weekly chart? I'm concerned at the total market cap now compared to the last bull run. Yeah. So let's look at the others dominance chart for that, because it's kind of giving us a lot of insight of what all the alts are kind of doing. Because they're all at really, some of them are at key levels and some of them are showing us that their market shares are being absorbed by other assets. So if we go to others dominance right here, this gives us an idea of what's going on with all altcoins, right? So I've got a key level that I want to have broken right here on the daily for the others dominance charts. The others dominance chart, sorry. And for those of you who don't know what the others dominance chart is, it's basically a market cap consolidation of all the altcoins that are not a part of, well, not all of the cryptocurrencies that are not a part of the top 10. So this gives you an insight of what most assets are going to look like structurally and what to prepare for in a more of a macro move event. So for example, we've got this downtrending resistance. When broken, this doesn't give you a warning sign of a altcoin season, but it'll give you a warning sign of an altcoin rally, right? Whenever this momentum breaks, right? So all the altcoins are just getting punished, right, during these moments where we have this downtrending resistance. Once my computer catches up with me, come on. Sorry, it's kind of buffering. While we're waiting on that, I'm just going to grab my drink. Okay. All right, it's working now. Sorry about that. Cool. So this is the other dominance chart. And when we broke this downtrending momentum, this was the period where like Sui got its first like crazy all-time high, and then we lost this momentum. Then everything kind of plummeted, and then we had this huge rally, and we met up with the downtrending macro resistance, the momentum here of the pace of the sellers, right? So a lot of people took profits when we retested this zone. And if we break this level, this is our current key level that we want to have broken to signify an altcoin season, not just a rally, but an actual season. What's wild to me is we lost this uptrending legacy support for the others dominance chart that's been holding it up since April 17th. Oh, sorry, not April 17th, April 2027. And so years of support lost. So that basically tells us that a large amount of altcoins lost a very important level of support. And one example is Atom. One example is Polygon, which is now renamed like 3 times. But we retested a key level that I was watching recently, where we kind of like SFP'd historical liquidity. So we did like a legacy SFP. And this is basically when we saw a massive flash crash with a lot of altcoins in general, right? And this area, if broken, could spark a reversal to the upside. So we broke this evolving momentum recently, but we maintained our range. So a lot of assets maintained the range despite this breaking. So because we didn't break our key level, and that we're still testing it as resistance. But when we get that close, we might hit here again and pull back where this is the more broad momentum, or we might get a strong continuation and finally start seeing an uptrend. And this could be the early front run warning sign for good entries with assets. So you want to see this chart in confluence with your favorite altcoin assets break their key levels to give you a warning sign of a potential altcoin season starting. But this will just be a spark of a rally, not really a season, until this breaks. And then that's when things get really wild. And then normally after that, we have our bear market occur. So that's what I'm watching right now there, Poyo. It's just this key level here at 883. AI Joyful. Kyle, why don't you use paid indicators? Is this something you recommend? I've never... I don't use paid indicators because I don't need them, and no one needs them. So I don't recommend them because I want to teach people that you can do things on your own. Like you don't need the shiny bells and whistles. When I first started trading, I went after every indicator I could find to help give me a better edge. And I paid for indicators like LuxAlgo. I paid for indicators that actually end up being scams. Like there's tons of stuff out there that you'll just be constantly chasing, trying to find the best indicator. When really, eventually you'll realize that that you can just get your basic indicators, build rules, and find out the percentage win rate off of the set of rules that you've made for yourself by back testing it, and then you basically become the indicator. Like by setting up a proper set amount of rules where you know your percentage win rate off of it, you could feel a lot more confident as a trader just by sticking to what you know works. So I'll almost never recommend a paid indicator, other than I would say 11x's bundles, because they make things easier for you and save you time. Anything that saves you time, I would recommend. But I'd rather you figure things out on your own before using an indicator that kind of gives you a handicap, right? Because then you won't be able to identify if the indicator is wrong. So if you see, for example, an order block in an indicator, and you expect that to be accurate, you expect it to be truthful, and then you try trading off of it, and it could be a false sense of confluence because you weren't able to identify whether or not that indicator is actually like inaccurate with that pull. Like here's a daily order block on this chart. Here's a daily order block on this chart. I can see that with my eye that this is proper. If I were to use another indicator that told me the exact same thing with order blocks, but I trusted it, let's do like Nephew Sam, for example. Nothing against Nephew Sam. I know he's got good indicators, but I just want to see if there's any inaccuracies. All right, well, this looks okay. Let's see if we got another version. I know there's some out there that are absolutely terrible. Order block. Let's just, since we're talking about it, let's do But you get my point. I don't know why I can't pull it up. But I've seen tons of order block indicators that are absolutely terrible. I got to get rid of all these indicators on my chart. Delete. 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 There we go. Cool. But yeah, that, especially with market structure indicators, like there's not very many out there that know what an actual strong low is or an actual strong high is, or what internal structure looks like. Indicators are too slow. You're losing a lot with entry. Well, you're talking about oscillators. Oscillators are slow for sure, because they're meant to be most of the time. So you'll see like indicators like this that will give you a delay of confluence for your setup. Yeah, there's some out there that are laggy, but some of them are made that way on purpose because you'll need that additional time confluence. So it all depends on your strategy and what you need. If you're scalping, you're right. You got to have something that works fast, and that normally means you need to use raw data. You shouldn't be using indicators that depend on time, like the macro, like the MACD, for example. If you're using like value area confluence and market structure, your strong lows, strong highs, you're gonna have a lot easier time with your trade setup if you're doing short-term scalps, because you won't depend on stuff like that. Or if the RSI is in the overheated zone, or overbought or oversold, if that's all you need for your confluence, and that's great. If you need bearish divergence, you're gonna have a delay. You'll always have a delay on divergence, but you can prepare for, like you can see it in your eye, like if there's divergence forming, but the confirmation will always come late. Kyle, when are you going to be married? How are you going to marry me? What's up, man? I thought of something funny. I was thinking that Alex of Crypto, you could watch me live, watch the summit, and I could watch Tom Crown watch the summit and just be this stupid like Inception version of watching lives. We have, this is still on standby. White House Crypto Summit Live. Refresh this. Yeah, still nothing yet. Let's refresh Twitter. Yeah, nothing yet either here. Tripod effect. Yeah. Yeah, RSI is the easiest way for a new person to just buy when oversold. Well, you don't want to just buy when it's oversold. You want to buy when it's oversold and you got to change a character and maybe a few other rules as well, like acceptance to a value area. If you're trading a range especially. If you're looking at the daily, that's a little different. You could just buy when we're oversold like that if you're just a position trader. But there are better ways to confirm the tops and bottoms using like on-chain data especially. You only need a heat map plus draw a line. Yeah. What else we got in the chat? Am I missing anyone's requests or anything like that? Or waiting on stuff? What's your Chainlink price prediction this cycle? It depends on what happens. I have a hopium target and I have a target that will occur when X happens, which will be, let's pull that up right now. If we open up Chainlink, so I bought Chainlink at 752 with the community when we were breaking out of that crazy long-term range. I think that range was like 600 days old before we broke out of it. But I sold my seed investment on Chainlink already when it was at $30. Yeah, when we're at $30 here. Kind of like yelled through the rooftops. I'm selling some here. I didn't think that $30 was going to be the top. I expected it would likely be the top because it was a strong previous value area high and we were close to the market cap valuation high. It's all-time high is at $53. What we need to see happen in order for us to reach the all-time high again is to use this previous value area high as a form of support. And what's likely going to happen when we get to the market cap all-time high is the data traders that we're going to react off of that are going to sell and probably provide a pullback to test the previous all-time high, and hopefully nothing too aggressive so that we can get a higher high and bring us to our all-time high again. This is like its final boss right here. If that breaks and we use it as support, then I think that we'll be in price discovery very quickly. Because of its involvement with the banks and the exposure that's going to be getting, I think that Link is going to do extremely well this cycle. It's a great range trader's asset. So if you're someone who likes to range trade, then I'd add Chainlink to your watch list, because when it ranges, it loves to range. It ranges for, like, there's a 94-day range there. There is, like, its smaller ranges are like 15 days. We got another range here, 84 days. You get the point. It loves to range. 70 days there. And this is where we bought here. We had a lot of confluence for a long here. Because what happened was we had price action come up. We knocked out all the sell orders that were chasing this trend line. There's no longer sellers waiting for us there. I don't know why my long position tool is broken, but that's not how we played it out. So once we saw that, we watched this flag structure, and then we had this internal flag that acted as a confirmation formation. And as soon as we got that higher high, we jumped in as when we got the full body price acceptance there. It was in the lower time frames, but we jumped in, used this as our strong low guard, and then we rode it up as much as we possibly can. So I entered a futures trade and a spot buy, and so far I only sold my seed investment here. The rest of it's still in as play money. So now whatever's in there is like 100% profits, and I'm just gonna, so it's a lot less, there's a lot less emotion in holding it, and it's gonna be a lot easier to like hold it to its all-time high. So if we zoom in, let's see what it's doing locally though. We're going range bound again. We got a potential double top structure forming. Pull a fixed range from here to here. We got demand zone right here. So what we kind of want to see is a full body close below this level right here. That could induce a break. And because we're inside of demand zone, I would recommend that you don't just wait for a full body candle below this level, that you wait for a retest, because we can mitigate potential buyers here. You know, get a bounce, lower low, and then you can short, use the momentum as a guide, and then watch your key levels along the way down. We got a point of control, a previous point of control from this range, and we got a value area low that you could target. So right now it's looking structurally that it could flip bearish soon, just because we're failing to create higher highs. But yeah, prepare for potential continuations up too, because we can just easily, we're getting like a squeeze event occurring soon. We got an apex point right here. Well, that's just rush TA, honestly. Cardano's giving us a little bit of a pullback, so we might have a better strong low soon internally before we get that potential break, if we even get that break. But I think we'll inevitably retest this zone before coming down, if we go down, or break it before coming up. XRP doing the same thing. back to Bitcoin. Zoom in on the 15-minute. Yeah, Bitcoin might be coming down soon too. If we get that break of structure continuation, we'll probably come down to here. Potentially get a bounce, maybe even SFP off this level right here. And we got an order block that populated from 11x's indicator. What I like about 11x's indicator and why I think it's a huge time saver, and you'll, and after you, I recommend buying it after you learn market structure. But if you get a good understanding of market structure, there's some, what I like about 11x's indicators is that you're going to get to a point as a trader that you're just going to be valuing your time a lot. So you'll be picking trades that are higher quality, and you'll be doing less trades. And you'll find that the less trades you do and the higher quality trades you do, you'll be making the same amount of money as someone who does like 5 times, 6 times more trades than you, just because you're being picky with your setups, looking for the A plus stuff. And 11x, what they do is they're huge time savers because they'll draw market structure for you, and they'll give you order blocks on multiple time frames, so you don't have to keep marking them between multiple time frames to find out your confluences that you're looking for. So we got, yeah, so here is a full body level. Here's the wick level, and we can watch for potential SFP. What I prefer to look for is us to go range bound around here, grab that liquidity, and then close back inside that range, and then enter along and target the, you first got to watch the local range high, but if we get past that, you might see continuations back up, and you can start targeting the extreme highs. We don't need this anymore. We hit that, you know, we kept fighting that sell wall. We kind of got past it a little bit on the 5-minute. So next time we come up here, because we got past it and we defeated that sell wall, the next time we come up here, it should give us a lot more likelihood of coming, like breaking through that for a continuation. But you should always look back at the order books and see if new orders might have been placed back in. And we'll delete that because we got through that. And what I also recommend doing, if you have the order books open, especially the ones that I use, don't have them open on your computer too long because they keep stacking more and more virtual memory, and your computer just gets slower and slower and slower. So you have to like close it and reopen it to kind of give yourself like a refresh. Can we take a look at Sui? Yeah, sure. And Solana. We should probably, yeah, have Solana open too. I'm going to open my Solana chart. But we'll look at Sui. Oh, Solana was asked first, so we can do that. Solana, yeah, we just combated the downtrending momentum again. We're hitting it currently as resistance. This momentum has came from, after it loads, we don't even have all the candles yet here. Yeah, so this is from $295. We maintained the pace of sellers for a while now. We broke past it momentarily when we had that wild spike with like most assets. And that was the day where they announced the reserves, right? Something like that. Yeah. A lot of things like skyrocketed that day. But yeah, we are currently hitting that as resistance. We might get acceptance into the value area again, this previous value area. And if we do, when we get our first break of structure within it, we can get that rotation down to the value area low. I'll be targeting this low while being mindful of the point of control and this low here that could cause an inducement for like a return back up. It's just, but yeah, that's what I'll be looking out for. Looks like we might get a engulfing, not engulfing, a tweezer top reaction here. We can still have the opportunity to see the value area high act as support. If we do, and we get a higher high, we might finally break this momentum and get out of here and head on up. Let's go down the list. We got, how can I participate in Agent 7 AI token pre-sale? You don't participate in pre-sales, please. That's my advice. Non-financial advice. Because you're going to learn the hard way if you're going to do it anyways. But basically, when you're doing pre-sales or IDOs or RCOs, whatever you want to call them, you're giving them the funds for their first liquidity. And what they're offering you is the ability to buy it at a lower price, and then they're going to use the funds that you've given them to provide first liquidity at a higher price. The downside with that is that they're not going to have enough funds unless they get extra VC involvement to support the higher price. And 99% of the time, they won't get any additional funds to compensate for that difference, right? So it causes like this imbalancement and makes it very easy for it to crash. You will get a better price. That's a scam post? Okay. Well, I'm going to continue on anyways. You will get a better price waiting for the ICO event to be over and the downtrend that inevitably starts from it to just wait for its actual macro support reversal on like the daily time frame, and then you can jump in on that. I participated in ICO. It was the ICP one, and I got burned hard, and that's how I learned that lesson. And then I started like researching it, and I found like there's very, 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 very rarely a situation where it will just keep going up after listing. So just wait for the ICO event to be over, wait for the inevitable downtrend to end, then jump in on the break of that downtrend. I think that was my first scam post inside the chat, so I apologize for replying to a scam post. Do you think there's a significant towards the inflation, or mostly people are trading off of the chart analysis rather than tokenomics? Most people just focus on chart analysis, looking at the candles and the data from their indicators, then knowing the tokenomics. It will give you a massive edge in knowing macro holds for assets if you are going to be looking at the tokenomics, because you'll know whether or not it's deflationary or inflationary, and you'll know when the burn dates are, how aggressively it mints, stuff like that. And that helps you define whether or not you should be holding something long term. Like, for example, if you're holding Cake token and you see how much inflation goes on with like something like Cake, then you'll know I shouldn't be holding this long term, because it's like has a crazy inflation rate from the rewards that it gives out. So always track the inflationary data for an asset. Look at the tokenomics to find out whether or not something that's safe to hold. If something has a fixed supply, I would recommend like buying something like that. Or if something has a decrease in its inflationary pace, like Bitcoin, then that's usually a good asset to hold too. But if it has an infinite supply cap, it has the potential to do like a lunar event, if you guys are aware of that, or the potential to just keep on minting and minting and minting, bring it to lower and lower value. And being aware of the tokenomics will help you be aware of burn days, which could help you with your short-term trades too. So if, like, for example, Cake, they burn their tokens on Fridays. So if you see a bullish setup and confluence with it being a Friday where they're going to be doing a burn, that could help support your trade and give you a good short-term setup. So yeah, tokenomics is important. Always look into it. There's this saying where if you don't, from Warren Buffett, if you're not willing to hold the asset for 10 years, you shouldn't be holding it for 10 minutes. And you can kind of think that way with your trades too. If you find that tokenomics are very bearish, you should be mostly doing shorts on that asset and not doing longs. Like, for example, I have no faith in the Dogecoin tokenomics because it mints 10,000 tokens every minute. So it needs $10,000 to support its price every minute. So you have to be aware of that when you're doing your trades too. So I will always do shorts on Dogecoin, but I'll never do a long. I don't like touching Dogecoin anyways because it's very news driven. Like if Elon Musk makes a tweet, it's going to explode, and I don't want it to cause a slippage event where I end up losing more than what my stop loss suggests. Your first scam post, congrats, you made it. Yeah. No Trump to 6 p.m. No way. Well, I'm glad we don't have a crazy bearish reaction on the charts based on that. But I got family coming over tonight, so I can't go on for that long. That sucks. Well, I had fun either way. I can stay on for another like half an hour, guys, if you guys want to like still go around doing TA on some stuff. What's the indicator in the bottom? Is it free? Apologize if it was already answered. Just joined. This indicator here, the RSI, or the PVSRA, which is this one here. So I'll answer to both just in case. But this is, yeah, what you want to look up on the indicators is RSI divergence. It's a free indicator. What it does is basically, it's the RSI, except what it'll do some of your lazy work for you, right? So if you see divergence on the chart, it will draw them out for you. So it helps you visually see it faster. So if you're trying to do things on the fly, it's there. Or if you're sharing your chart like I am, it has it drawn for me so people can use that in confluence with whatever I've got drawn. So it saves me some time like helping other people out, finding divergences. So that was free. And then the PVSRA down here is just a volume indicator, except it color codes significant events, like where there's a peak of interest, where there potentially might be institutional involvement. And if you see confluence, like say a green candle, that basically states that there's 150% more volume in that candle than there was in the previous like 14 candles. So you can be aware of that. And then what you want to do to try to find that is you just go to indicators, type PVSRA. It's by Traders Reality. So you'll see Traders Reality PVSRA volume suite. This one's also free. They have Traders Reality also has a lot of good indicators for you guys to use. They're all free too. Okay. Did you do the others dominance chart? We did do the others dominance chart. We talked about that for a little bit, where how like things are kind of starting to look like we might get a break soon. I'll pull it up again just so you can see the key level that I've got drawn. Hey, I got an altcoin season chart. Forgot about that. It's right here. If we go to the daily, this is our key level that we're watching after everything. This could spark a potential rally. Not a season, but a rally that we're kind of watching this percentage level. So we want to have a full body candle close above that. Then look at your chosen assets relative to this chart and see if they're also in a position of strength where it could get a strong reversal. This is definitely not a chart that you just like, when you see a candle close above it, to just buy whatever asset you think will do well. That's a part of the others dominant market cap. This is just a chart they use in confluence with that. You still need to have the breaks happen and occur on the assets you're thinking about investing in. And if they're not getting breaks, then that might be a warning sign to tell you that that asset might have relative weakness compared to everything that's a part of the others dominance list, right? A good example of that is Polygon. And you guys butt kicked while everything else kind of didn't. And that's like mostly because the oversaturation that we got going on with the meme coins and all the new tokens being created like Sui, the AI agents. It's never been easier to make a token. Like we're getting literally 1 million tokens per week created in the space, whereas last cycle it was 10,000 per week. And a lot of like tools like token sniffers are like starting to break because they can't really filter out what's good and what's bad. Let's zoom back into the 15, see what we got. Still heading down. Can we look at cubic? Yeah. We need good roots from this round table. Yeah. I think it's more of like an education summit. Like we're just going to be teaching people about what Bitcoin is. Hey, we're putting a bunch of your money into Bitcoin and these other assets. Here's why, kind of thing. And I'm glad they got like people like Michael Saylor hosting stuff like that, because like you couldn't have anyone better explain it. Cubic. We have a cubic chart now. Got enough requests on this that we got to have a chart for it. We were waiting for this hourly key level to be broken for a potential reversal. We never got it. Instead, we dropped. And by being patient, and this is why patient pays, guys. By being patient and waiting for those key levels to break before buying into anything saves you from crap like this, right? So this is why patience pays in the crypto land. Because you might find yourself waiting for another key level down here for a reversal. What we really, really wanted to happen for cubic is acceptance back inside this macro value area right here. And we tested it as resistance, kind of like simultaneously as Bitcoin tested its daily range as resistance. And Cubic's got some relative weakness, whereas Bitcoin's kind of creeping its way back up to that daily value area. But Cubic is like getting further and further away. I don't think this is price discovery for Cubic. Like, I don't think it's the lowest it's ever been, but it's definitely the lowest it's ever been on this chart on Gate.io. Yeah, it's not looking great. Let's look at the 15-minute. Got some wild wicks going on. We're fighting against the VWAP right here, the daily volume weighted average price. We could be forming like a cup and handle, but it's kind of choppy right now, so I wouldn't be touching it. You got a 15-minute order block signifying that there might be a big buyer that just jumped in and that their orders might still not be filled entirely, so we might get a bounce off of that and maybe potentially create a double bottom. And then you can use the neckline confluence of the double bottom structure and the VWAP to help define a potential entry. I'd be very, very careful trading this asset in the futures environment because of its wicks. It gets kind of wicky, and sometimes it disrespects market structure. It'll give you like multiple changes of character, like back to back kind of thing. And when that happens with an asset, you got to rethink whether or not you want to trade it. You want to have like changes of character happening only when we reach like areas of exhaustion or something like that, like a value area high or like a value area low or a key level of support. You don't want them happening all over the place, or else it can be really difficult to trade. So with this one, yeah, just cautious trading this one in futures because you can burn yourself. But I like the tokenomics of Cubic. Its supply is really, really high, but the tokenomics is good. And I think the supply is just a play into the mindset of people thinking that it's cheap to buy and that it can go, oh, this can go to $1 when it can't. I have some Cubic, so I actually like the tokenomics of it. Repeating my question with Litecoin. Yeah, sure. I can take a look at Litecoin. Sorry if I missed you. LTC. Oh, we already have an Litecoin chart open over here. Litecoin, we were looking at this key level here for a long at $106.06. We got that break. We got a pullback guard here, and it ran off really, really well until we grabbed all the liquidity above this zone right here in this supply concern. We tried to get acceptance into the value area low, but it failed. What we need to see in order to get proper acceptance is a pullback of at least 2 candles and then a higher high with a break of structure. And that defines acceptance into a value area. Or if you get a break of structure just prior to it, that's usually a good time to enter or trade too. But we didn't really get either of those, and it started to fail. And now we're back at that key level again. I'm going to delete this because we don't longer need it. Now, this is still a strong horizontal level of resistance, but I'll be watching mostly the highs of this level here in case we see it used as like exit liquidity or potential SFP pattern. But the good news is its structure. Like we're seeing signs of accumulation. We got a double bottom posture here, right? We had double bottom posture here. We got kind of like a Wyckoff structure here, like a inverse head and shoulders kind of behavior with ascending resistance. It could bring us up to this neckline. If this neckline acts as a form of support, then our momentum-based target would give us acceptance into this macro value area again. What's the momentum-based target? It would be, just move this out of the way. And way back up at 126 again. And 126, 128 level around here, basically this zone here, is where there's a lot of Litecoin traders average. So a lot of people bought at that price, not because of this, what's going on locally, but because of what happened historically. Right, way back in the last cycle for Litecoin, there's a lot of buyers at that price. And they're all kind of exiting here, and that's why it's acting as such a strong level of resistance. And if we zoom out on the daily, this was the previous value area low of the entire like cycle top pull here. And it's just consistently kicking our butts whenever we get to there. When Litecoin breaks that, we'll very, very likely just rotate right to the point of control at $181. And if we break past that, then our next target is like 216. So we're just in this internal battle right now, fighting this range for about 96 days now. But this is healthy. We want this to happen for Litecoin in order for it to be able to escape it, get those old investors out, get new investors in to hopefully get that higher high. And then this can act as a strong level of support rather than resistance. Did we look at AVAX? No, we have not, but we can look at that one next, man. Ponzi Summit. Ponzi Summit. That's a good name for it right now. Yeah, it's got like a little internal inverse head and shoulders here too. Well, let's go to the next request. Is it live yet? We just got notice that it's not going to be going live at all, I don't think. Not until 6. So I won't be able to stay on until then, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to rename this entire live event that we're doing together. We could refresh this and see what we got. What's this? Let's take a peek at this. YouTube. I promise you I'll go back to AVAX request. Just want to take a peek at maybe we have something going on here. He was supposed to talk at 3, so that was about 9 minutes ago. Yeah. And it just looked like my thumbnail. This guy's getting a lot of publicity, just chilling there in front of the door. Oh, this feed here. Until 6 sounds like they want to manipulate the daily candle. Well, I feel like if they're going to manipulate the daily candle, they could pre-plan that. They didn't have to say it started at 1:30. Yeah, I agree that there's definitely a manipulation going on, but maybe they're just waiting for their bros to get in first before starting it. I don't know. This guy. Okay. Well, we got, I got the sound on over here for when this actually starts. So when they start talking, it might scare the crap out of me a little bit, but at least we'll know when they start talking. Okay, so AVAX. Let's take a peek at AVAX. I feel like they should be starting it soon. They said 1:30. They said 3 o'clock, and now we're hearing potentially 6. So hopefully it's at any moment now. Let's go to the AVAX request that we got from Altcoin Corey there. So AVAX. Last time we checked it out was February 5th. How's this guy doing? Still getting his butt kicked? Second scammer in the house. Oh man, I'm getting famous. Yeah, everyone watch out for the AI or the Agent 7 AI messages. I feel like I'm going to have to maybe get a moderator soon. Going up in life. Oh, we got our change character occurrence? No, we did not. No. Fortunately, it's way up here. We got to break this high. If we got a lower low here, then this would be our key area. But let's go back in time here. Let's go back and see what we're up against. A little bit more awkward than the rest. We have this downtrending momentum here. We got some negative space to be filled for 20 some days. There's a lot of assets like that where we got a lot of negative space where the pace of the selling like picked up, and now we're getting warning signs that we're going to likely consolidate to the broad momentum. So our daily key level is here that we want to have broken at 24.87. And if we break that, we'll very likely have a rotation up to its previous value area high, while being mindful of the point of control. There's lots of confluence of this level 2764 acting as an area of concern because we have lots of liquidity stacked here and here. If we look at the liquidity heat maps for AVAX, we can validate that. So what you want to do to use the liquidity heat maps properly to find that out, get your measurement tool here on the left and find out how long it's been since we've been there. And we've got 24 days. So we want to look at the monthly for the liquidation heat map. So I'm going to pull that up. This is on coinglass.com. If you guys want to use a tool like this, it's free to use as well. So I'm going to click on symbol, and then we're going to type in the AVAX ticker. It's currently on the weekly. We want to switch it to the month. Yellow. Okay, so yeah, we were able to confirm that we were right. We got lots of liquidity here at 27.613. So 27.613. So if you are preparing for an exit as a market maker, that's where you could prepare for an exit. But we also have a lot of liquidity above this high right here at 25.21. Now, it could be used as buy side liquidity. So be aware that liquidity could be used not just for exits, it could also be used for entries, even if it's above the price action. But if it's above the price action, it's 80% more likely to be used for exits than it is for entries, because we're 80% more likely to range in a market than we are to trend in a market. So here at 25.21, I'd mark that on your chart for AVAX if you're preparing for any potential longs. So I would mark that with a horizontal line like this. Type in the coordinates of the price. So we have here. Make sure you also label what it is. So you can see high amount of liquidity. Right? So now you know why that line is there. So you can prepare for a potential SFP pattern there. You can prepare for a potential continuation or reversal. What you want to see for a continuation is a full body acceptance above it. And let's go to the chart and look at the other area of concern, because we saw two areas, right? Go over here. 27.61.3. At 27.61.3. So lots of liquidity here. Is perfectly flushed with a previous point of control. So I don't know if that information is going to be helpful for you if you have already a barrier concern written, but it could just add a lot of noise. So I'm just going to delete that because we already know that's an area of concern. We're more likely to have an SFP here than we are going to have here. But just prepare for both case scenarios. Oh yeah, we could definitely have an SP here. Lower time frame stuff. All right. So key areas here that we can watch, the more macro. Internally, we've got a double bottom posture forming, like an ascending double bottom here, and a more macro one right here. So if you want to see that continuation up, we want to see a break of structure occurrence above here or just right below it, right? To give you that strong continuation of the double bottom. And you can prepare for potential longs. But yeah, preferably you get in early so you can front run it. This is our key area to give us that high likely. If this breaks, we use it as support, we're very likely to come up to meet that area here. And it just create a domino effect, really. So a break of this level will bring us to here. A break of this level will likely bring us to here. Be mindful of the supply concern here. But yeah, looking good. And maybe we'll finally break that downtrending macro momentum for AVAX and bring it back up to $54. Like DOT is kind of gives me DOT vibes. Kind of gives me like, because we're looking at historical levels here that we're trying to honor our support, and DOT is doing the same kind of positioning, except DOT's level is more, definitely a lot stronger than AVAX's. How do I delete that? Can I delete that? I'm going to have to open up my YouTube channel to open that, eh? How's the Bitcoin USDT dominance chart? Against the USDT? You can pull it up if you want. Well, let me take a peek at here. How's this guy doing? Look good. Just chilling there still. Well, there's latency. Pretty exciting summit so far. That's what I was afraid of. My dominance chart is over here. Yeah, it's getting, we're seeing like a consolidation on it. So we have a high volume event occur soon. We have the downtrending momentum here. Uptrending momentum here. So we have an apex point right here on Sunday, March 9th. So we're going to be meeting this is the 15-minute time frame. So yeah, we should see a high volume occurrence here soon. We either be the upside or the downside. We don't know yet. We just got to wait for our key level to break. So you can use that in confluence with your setups if you'd like. Our two key areas that we've got marked so far is here at this high where this order block is in the 15-minute. Right, and we have one right here on this low. We could have new ones coming up soon, but that's what we currently have. If we get this break of structure here, we'll see weakness on Bitcoin's chart. If we go up to here, if we break to the downside, we're very likely to see strength in Bitcoin's chart. Miguel, bro, I know you're a real person, but can you stop posting on my chat, bro? All right, so I feel like we're gonna be twiddling our thumbs here for a little bit. I think this one's more real time on the YouTube channel for MPC News than their actual website. He's no longer guarding the door. He's going left off screen. So anyone there in Washington, just run now. Get to the front door. There's no one watching it. Kyle, can you give me a wrench? I'll take care of these bots. Yeah, I gotta I never added a mod before on YouTube. I think I gotta go in the back office and do that in the studio. YouTube studio. We've got 1,000 likes. These guys are doing great. I should just stand outside and record the White House like this. Get 1,000 likes. Bam. We got, we're trying to, well, when we got the rejection off that sell wall on Bitcoin, we simultaneously lost the VWAP. Now we're getting down below and deviating below the value area low. So these are areas where you typically want to prepare for long soon, so long as you get the internal confluence. Like our confluence zone level right now is here, up here. Safer entry could technically be here if the point of control wasn't right in our face. Like the setups right now aren't very safe. And I wouldn't really recommend like trading right before a potential summit anyways, because it might act like an FOMC event. We never had it happen before where the White House has ever streamed something like this before, so we don't know what it could do to the charts. So we might see some crazy imbalance in the chart and some slippage. Just take that into account if you're trying to do any scalping. I wonder what color Trump's tie will be today. It says Mama Bull. Green. Yeah. That would be funny. Try to match the charts. Maybe we'll get a green candle out of this. I was surprised to see that when we're looking at this descending broadening wedge right here, where price action was just like consistently hitting this downtrending momentum on like the lower time frames, like the 15-minute. A lot of the liquidity is stacked right here. We have a lot of liquidity right here at just above like 92.8. And structure like this, like the reason why like some formations have a statistical outcome of breaking to the upside or the downside is because of usually how the structure is formed, like market structure wise, and or how liquidity is placed into the charts based on the behavior of the formation. And we had tons here, which is the technical target for this descending broadening wedge. And we just rode against this like a sell wall. It broke past it and then crashed dramatically after having like really bullish news about Bitcoin. So it kind of became like a liquidity trap. And we just grabbed all the liquidity that came in from the order flow of all this break of structure that we had here. The breaks of structure were really, really tight together. So it makes sense for us to grab it all like quickly like that. But kind of rude when someone was like, maybe you were trying to look for a safe exit. There was a few exit warnings like this crazy SFP here. You would have taken that and gotten out or gotten in a short. So congrats to anyone who took the short or exited the long safely. Because if you didn't get in within this candle close, you probably wouldn't have been able to get in safely. Waiting for that news to break, trapped all those longs, and then slam. Yeah, man. Maybe we'll get an SFP down here. Double bottom and then return back up to this value area high again. Let's see if there's anyone guarding the door. Nope. Exciting stuff. Sounds like straight manipulation. Must be gold for Bitcoin. On Fox Live, it a gold tie. That's cool. Represent the branding of Bitcoin. Give him the gold tie. He should wear the gold tie when they audit Fort Knox. And see what happens there. Oh boy. Intense. Bro took his legs and ran. Yeah. And that would be good. It'll also give you bullish diversions. You are right, man. Yeah, Poyo, you're right. If we sweep the low here, we'd inevitably get bullish divergence. And it would confirm... it'll confirm once you get that, like, the local high broken. But you could front run the divergence. And we're below the 50 level on the RSI, and we're approaching the lows here. Let's go to 5 minute. Look like it's more picture perfect on the 5 here. I like 15-minute SFPs more than others. Just like they're a lot safer for entry, but sometimes you'll get poor R&R waiting for an SFP like that, but you just don't take it if you don't. Whatever confluence you need. Is that 10-minute or 15-minute? 15-minute order block. 10-minute. Those equal lows? No. We could also bounce off of this here. Grab liquidity, come up, front run this low. like an inducement. What else do you guys want to look at since we're just chilling? Go on Twitter and see what other people are, if they're still streaming. 100 likes. Oh, that would be a record in a live. Thanks, guys. CoinDesk is still watching the price with their elevator music. It's funny, they've updated this banner multiple times. We go. It says 1:30 start time, right? Stay tuned. And we scroll over here. Now it says 3 o'clock start time. Stay tuned. And I bet it's going to update soon. 6 o'clock start time. Stay tuned. Stock time. Crypto Pollo. Teo. Ave. Tia. Okay. We can look at... Oh, Injective was first. Okay, so let's look at Injective. We'll go through these 5 assets here for you guys. And hopefully, by the time we're done that, we will be able to watch something other than the guards walking around the White House. Let's go to Injective first. I think we might have an Injective chart. Yeah. We had some pretty wild calls on Injective. Made some insane gains on it. Oh, that looks like the last time we were preparing for the short. Like right here, we want this key level to act as resistance, right? And it didn't act as a resistance until here. We had a decent drop, pretty close to the value area low, and then we had the break of momentum, change of character. Oh no. Well, yeah, break of momentum. Then we got this break here, change of character here, and then we started running up. Let's delete the noise now. Zoom out. You know, it's this trade that I made quite a bit of money off of. We broke this more macro downtrending momentum here. Return to 34. And then we had this trade here, which was so picture perfect. At this point, with Injective, when we had the bounce at the value area high, I was notified by Injective to post on their behalf. Like basically getting everyone hyped. The influencer deal that they had going on was like you would pay them, or you'd buy X amount of Injective, and then they would match it for you. And then it told everyone a date of when they want everyone to talk about Injective. And rather than like taking their payment, I just warned people that it was going to happen, because once all the influencers start posting about it, they usually end up dumping on their followers, their audience, right? Frustrates the crap out of me. So we just took advantage of the pump, and then we knew that it was going to get to around $40 based on our measurable targets from this high to this low. If you pull it from the mast, right, the momentum-based target would bring us to around like $37, $40. And then we lost it, and we started this downtrend, falling wedge, and they came up, and we started targeting the liquidity here. lost momentum, broke a key level, started this drop. And now we're following this momentum here, approaching a strong, little demand, I guess not that strong. Well, we're getting close to a strong level here. I'll get rid of that orange line. All right, so there's our more macro downtrending resistance. I'm going to change this to more of a thicker line. And then we got this internal momentum here, which is fairly broad, to be honest. So it's suggesting a potential range-bound activity for another like 10 days. If we break this high, of course, we'll get acceptance into this micro valley area and likely at least rotate to this high and maybe create like an inverse, like head and shoulders retest off of this momentum if we broke that high here, right? So this level, basically, let me just adjust this. Stocks, correlated crypto, S&P index. You can go over that too, so. Let's get our pathing tool. So we get if we get a break of this local high here, it would probably most likely induce a pump to test this local high, come back down to this valley area, and gives a structure like that. If we maintain this range bound activity, if we get acceptance into it. But like a lot of things are looking bearish. If unless Injective has relative strength, it could likely come down along with it. Build a continuation down. Like we got an ascending channel here, so the posture looks bullish to most, but it's actually causing a bearish effect as we are grabbing more liquidity from the upside and adding more to the downside. So the market makers are more likely to target to the downside here. We could retest around $10.91 where we had this previous inverse head and shoulders. And there, I would prepare for a potential reversal of the full buy support or off of the wick SFP level here at $10.08. If I were to draw this as a structure, people would see this as a bear flag. And our current key level for the continuation down is here. So most likely, if we went straight down, bounce, retest, momentum, lower low, and then down. That's Injective. I prefer to come down before coming up. A lot of this makes me feel like if we broke this, you mentally feel like you're trading on a glass floor. I'd rather sweep this low here so we get like a strong change of character on the higher time frames. If we get so that was Injective. AI Joyfuls wants to take a look at Bitcoin just puked. What? Okay, there we go. So we're grabbing. Now we're coming down to the order block here. So Teo. Do we have a Teo chart? I think Teo is one of the ones I was thinking about accumulating. It just never given me a position of strength that I felt confident in, so I never jumped in. I'm on the TIA chart with my Teo chart. I gotta switch over to Teo. Finance. Oh yeah, okay. We had that falling wedge structure that looked so bullish. Like it looked like it was ready for a good run. But I was really eerie about this previous value area data because of how well we honored the resistance consistently over and over and over again. We kept giving setups for SFP returns and then down. And we didn't actually get an SFP on the Binance chart here. We just induced more up here. And which made me think that we might get a return up, but we never got the return up. So when we got that key level break, we got a good pump, but we hit that value area high and lost like this really strong evolving momentum and we lost the value area low, used it as resistance right here. This was the confirmation candle here that used it as resistance, and that told us we're coming down. And I hear, hey, it's starting. Okay. Oh, they're talking about the orange tie. That's funny. We can see Michael Saylor there on the right. There's Brian right beside him. Let's see if we can get this thing out. Theater mode here. You guys see better. I'm going to adjust the positioning of my screen share. There we go. I wonder if Michael Saylor and Brian have ever met. The bald guy to the right here, that's the owner of Coinbase, like the CEO of Coinbase. Some of their whispering was pretty easy to hear them. We can keep doing some TA because I've got a feeling that these guys are going to be taking their time with this. So I'm going to put the volume down a little bit so we can all kind of hear it a little bit. But once they start talking, then we'll jump back. All right, let's go back to Injective. The sounds are, ugh. It's like an SMR of people's mouths just okay, so we got Ave for Jose. So let's take a peek. Do we have an Ave chart? We were on Teo. Oh, my bad. Teo. Oh, we're still on Teo. Okay. But yeah, going down locally for Teo, like we were back at this, like, we got acceptance back inside this really historical valley area. So if we pull a fixed range volume profile from the start of this range to the end of it here, we can use the data here to help support us with our trades. We've got a value area high here, previous value high, a previous point of control, get that lined up a little bit better, and then we got the value area low. We got an aggressive bounce off the value area low. We're currently dancing on top of the previous point of control. For those of you who don't know what a point of control is, it's basically where an area within the value area that has the most amount of interest. So it acts as a strong barrier of resistance and support when you're doing your trades. So if you're trading like a range, you should always be aware of where the point of control is because it could prevent you from hitting the opposite side of the range. Okay, that they just let this guy in. Just gonna mute myself for a quick second. Gonna fix my desk.
Thank you very much, everyone. Great honor to have you. I know you've all been working very hard and very successfully. And it's a wonderful place, the White House. I want to begin, is Johnny here from World Cup? I want to thank you for the selection. And they just had a presentation in the Oval Office, and I thought this was such a beautiful, this is the trophy. This is the big deal. The World Cup is the biggest sporting event, and Johnny Infantino is my friend for a long time, and during my first term, we worked out a deal to get the World Cup, and then because of lots of interesting things that happened, I ended up being president. When it showed up, I was always disappointed. I wasn't going to make it. I was going to serve 8 straight. Instead, we did it the hard way, but maybe the more important way. So I will be with you as president, Johnny. So maybe you could just say a few words and show how beautiful the World Cup trophy is. Thank you. Yeah, sure, please.
This is
Yeah,
the famous key.
that's a great key.
You want to open it, President? Or shall
Well,
I?
you go ahead.
I go ahead. Okay.
I trust you.
So this is the new trophy of a new competition. It's called the FIFA Club World Cup. There's 32 best clubs in the world with the absolutely best players in the world. And for the first time,
Got my popcorn ready.
this competition takes place in the United States. Opening game on the 14th of June.
Right.
Obviously, in Miami, final on the 13th of July this year in New York, New Jersey. But it's not that. The trophy is special because it's a key, and because, as you can see, if I manage to do that, it's a bit tricky. It's like that. So this is a trophy. It is a trophy which represents, and that's why I think it's interesting to show this trophy exactly in this form, because it represents the past, but it's also projected to the future. There is no other sports trophy which looks like that. It has engraved the history of the game, of soccer or football as we call it, the participating teams of the first edition, the stadiums, the beautiful stadiums in 11 cities in the United States of America where this competition will take place. So at the same time, past, present, and projected to the future. And if I may, President, say another 2 words, and then I let you work. I would like to congratulate the President and the administration for not only for the World Cup, the Club World Cup, the World Cup, and the great work done, but also for this initiative that you are speaking about here. If I may add something in this respect, I'm not an expert at all, but FIFA, as you know, is a brand which is globally known, a very strong brand. The soccer economy in the world is worth around 270 billion a year. 70% of that, Mr. President, is in Europe.
Insert
So
ad plug in
imagine
here.
the potential that there is around the world only in soccer if we develop it. And so FIFA is very, very interested under my presidency to develop a FIFA coin, to do it from here, from America, and to conquer the 5 billion soccer fans in the world. So if there is anyone here who is interested to team up with FIFA, here we are, together with the United States of America, and we will conquer the world of soccer with the FIFA coin. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That coin, excellent. That coin may be worth more than FIFA in the end. It could be quite a coin, actually. Anyway, thank you, Johnny. Great job. I just thought you should see this trophy because it's really, you know, it's the biggest sporting event in the world, and we have it here, and we appreciate being selected. Thank you very much. You do a fantastic job.
Already starting with the
And
shilling,
welcome
eh?
to the first ever White House Digital Assets Summit. I know that many of you have been fighting for years for this, and it's an honor to be with you at the White House. I want to thank the White House AI and crypto czar David Sachs, Treasury Secretary. This is David right here, in case you don't know. You know David. And the man who's doing a great job as Secretary of Treasury, Scott Bessent, who's right here. Scott, thank you very much. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick, wherever you may be, Howard. Hi, Howard. He's doing some interesting work right now with all that's going on. He's right in the middle of it and doing a great job. Thank you. SBA Administrator Kelly Loeffler. And thank you. SEC Commissioner Hester Pierce. Thank you, Hester. Acting CFTC Chairman Caroline Pham. House Majority Whip Tom Emmer. Hello, Tom. Representative Brian Stile. Thank you. Brian, thank you very much. Digital Assets Council Director Bo Hines. Good, Bo. Great job. And many other distinguished guests. We have a lot of very distinguished people around the table. Some of them will be speaking. I want to thank Marco Rubio also, who's right over there. And we have tremendous people very interested in this subject. And last year I promised to make America the Bitcoin superpower of the world and the crypto capital of the planet. And we're taking historic action to deliver on that promise, as you know, around the table. Yesterday, I signed an executive order officially creating our strategic Bitcoin reserve. And this will be a virtual Fort Knox for digital gold to be housed within the United States Treasury. That's a big thing, Scott.
They can't lie about this Fort Knox. It's all on chain.
The federal government is already among the largest holders of Bitcoin, as you know. Really one of the largest holders in the world, with as many as 200,000 Bitcoin obtained via civil law and various other forms of law, and including enforcement actions. These existing holdings will form the foundation of the new reserve. Unfortunately, in recent years, the U.S. government has foolishly sold tens of thousands of additional Bitcoin that were worth billions and billions of dollars had they not sold them, but they did sell them, mostly during the Biden administration. Not a good thing to have done. From this day on, America will follow the rule that every Bitcoin knows very well: never sell your Bitcoin. That's a little phrase that they have. I don't know if that's right or not. Who the hell knows? Who knows? Who knows? But so far, it's been right. And well, let's keep it that way. The Treasury and Commerce Departments will also explore new pathways to accumulate additional Bitcoin holdings for the reserve, provided it's done at no cost to the taxpayers. We don't want any cost to the taxpayers. In addition, my order directs federal agencies to conduct an inventory of all crypto assets currently held by the U.S. government and determine how they can be transferred easily to the Treasury. Non-Bitcoin digital assets will be held in a new U.S. digital asset stockpile where they will be managed properly. My administration also is working to end the federal bureaucracy's war on crypto, which was really going on pretty wildly during Biden until the election came about. About 5 months before the election, he became a big fan because he heard how many people were in favor of it and how many people love it and respect it. But I guess it didn't work out too well for him. People understood what was going on and paved the way for groundbreaking innovations in institutional finance. Under the Bitcoin administration, regulators strong-armed banks. I mean, they really did. They strong-armed banks into closing the accounts of crypto businesses and entrepreneurs, effectively blocking some money transfers to and from exchanges, and they weaponized government against the entire industry. But I know that feeling also. Maybe better than you do. All of that will soon be over, and we are ending Operation Choke Point 2.0. Now, some people really suffered. It was ridiculous what they were doing, but in the end, they came around, but they came around for the wrong reasons. They came around only because they wanted votes, and they saw that tens of millions of people were against them because of what they were doing. I also want to express my strong support for the efforts of lawmakers in Congress as they work on bills to provide regulatory certainty for dollar-backed stablecoins and the digital assets market. They're working very hard on that. This is a tremendous opportunity for economic growth and innovation in our financial sector, and will really go a long way. I think there's going to be a tremendous, we feel like pioneers in a way, of tremendous method of growth. And
We're the true pioneers, though, right,
things
guys?
are very much tied, and we want to keep it that way. The U.S. dollar, long into the future, we're going to keep it that way. I hope lawmakers will send that legislation to my desk before August recess if they can. And they're very much working with you, and you know a lot of them, and a lot of them were committed right from the very beginning. So I just want to congratulate you all for being at the White House today, and a man who knows more about Bitcoin and AI and just about everything else than anybody, David Saxon. I'd like to have you say a few words, David.
Thank you, Mr. President. We're all here today because of your leadership, your vision, and your generosity, and I really want to thank you for that. We're also here because of your desire to make America great and to introduce a golden age in America, including for digital assets. And we're here because of your love of innovators, or as you might say, high IQ people. We know you love high IQ people. And we have about 30 of them here in the room today. These are the top people in the digital asset industry. And one other thing that I think that you love is legal fairness. This is an industry that was subjected to prosecution and persecution for the last 4 years, horrible lawfare, and nobody knows what that feels like better than you do. So we really appreciate the fact that you understand legal fairness and that you're always willing to fight for the right thing, for legal fairness. You never back down. You stand defiant, even in the face of an assassin's bullet. It's an inspiration to everyone in this room, I think. So it's an honor. So I just want to say it's an honor to work for you. It's an honor to work for a president who works every day to get so much done on behalf of the American people. Your administration is moving at tech speed. It's really amazing. It's actually faster than any startup that I've been part of. Is that your administration moves even faster. So I just want to say thank you for having me be a part of it. I've enjoyed every minute of it. I love working for you, and thank you again for this opportunity.
Thank you, David. Very much appreciate it.
And now I just want to pass the ball to Secretary Besson.
Scott?
David, so today, when President Trump has signed the executive order to establish the strategic Bitcoin reserve and stockpile, we're going to position the United States as a leader among nations in the digital asset strategy. It's important for the United States to recognize this fact and get ahead of the other nations in the digital age. We applaud the President's direction to use the digital assets already in possession of the nation, and we are going to establish this Bitcoin reserve. We use this authority to augment the asset side of the United States balance sheet. As I've said many times, President Trump is creating assets for the American people, while most past presidents have created debt. And a large part of this asset program can be in digital assets. We are going to end the regulatory weaponization against digital assets. The Biden administration's actions did nothing other than punish innovators, and that all of you have made it here today is really a testament to your fortitude. Much of Treasury's responsibility in this order relates to the tax code and determinations around risk weightings. And I'm here to assure you that we are going to work with the Controller of the Currency, the IRS, and we're going to rescind and amend all applicable previous guidance. And we are going to put a lot of thought into the stablecoin regime. And as President Trump has directed, we are going to keep the U.S. the dominant reserve currency in the world, and we will use stablecoins to do that. Thank you.
technology is at the foundation of the Trump presidency. He understands technology, he embraces technology, and he's going to use technology to drive America forward. The blockchain and Bitcoin technology are a key part of that thinking, and embracing that, and here today shows how much a leader the Trump administration and our president is. He understands it, he embraces it. As you said, you're a pioneer in this place, and this is where we're going. We're using the blockchain, we're using Bitcoin, we're going to use digital assets to pound forward, and Donald Trump is leading the way. Can't be more proud of you today.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Howard.
Remember, guys, like the market is going to be using all the buyers' liquidity to help sell their positions. So if you're going to see things drop, that's why they still have market makers playing the board. You got to be aware of.
But the war on innovation done, and under your administration, we are truly going to enter into the golden age. And I'll just say, as the administrator of the SBA, small business is a tremendous network that crypto can be deployed against, and so the SBA is open to crypto. So I look forward to working with all of the leaders in this room to advance your efforts here. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you very much.
Treat this like an FOMC event. I wouldn't be trading right now.
Well, Mr. President, I want to say thank you. I want to thank you for the amazing team that you put together. I want to thank you for David. I mean, this kind of a meeting, no one in this room could have envisioned this just a couple years ago. You are the one that has the vision. You're the one that said, we are going to do 21st century finance right here in the United States of America. I've been doing this for 9 years. It is amazing how far we've come, and that's a credit to you, Mr. President, and your leadership, and God bless you for doing this, because it's going to make a huge difference with everything else you're doing. And by the way, Americans love it. They're going crazy. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Go ahead, please.
Does anyone want to say a couple of words? Cameron or Tyler, do you want to?
You're very shy in front of the
Actually,
camera.
Cameron, I think you said something earlier that I thought was really profound. You said that a year ago you thought it would be more likely that you'd end up in jail than at the White House. Not to put you on the spot, because you didn't do anything wrong, but that was the environment a year ago. But do you guys want to say something, either one of you?
Sure, that was actually Tyler who said that. but
Sorry, I still get mixed up.
But yeah, we never thought that we'd get attacked the way we did in our backyard after trying to do the right thing for so many years and always trying to raise the bar with respect to regulations. So it's truly wonderful to see how things have changed and how the pendulum has swung back in the way that it has. And we've always felt that the U.S. should lead in Bitcoin and crypto, and it's ours to sort of lead and win. And it's just wonderful what President Trump has been doing with this, and we look forward to working together. And thanks for inviting us, David, and setting this up.
Thank you. Thank you both. Please.
I was just going to say thank you, Mr. President. Cameron takes credit for a lot of my things I say, so it's not the first time. But the U.S. won the internet, and the U.S. should
Yeah, that's
win crypto.
Michael
thank you
Saylor's
for your
right
leadership
here,
on
and
this.
Thank you both very much.
See in the chat
IQ
asking,
individuals
right here is
around this
Brian
table. That's what I always say. We
from
need high IQ.
Coinbase.
So thank you very much. Would anybody like to say anything? Please.
I just want to express my deep gratitude for the seriousness with which you're approaching our industry and how you're actually helping guide it in the right direction. I work with many central banks in other countries, and when I was working there, I was wondering why I, as an American citizen, can't help the United States financial system reach this higher level that the world is on course towards generally. And so I'm very grateful that finally there's been a new level of kind of common sense and adoption of these ideas. Me and the other people in this room do believe that the crypto, blockchain, Web3 infrastructure is the next iteration of the financial system. And I think that the US should have its leadership position continue in that new financial system. And I'm very, very happy to see people like David Sachs,
Chainlink.
Secretary Bessent, Secretary Lutnick taking this very seriously with their time, and very grateful them too. So I'm just overjoyed to see this, and I think it is a big part of how the U.S. can continue its role in the global financial system. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I thought it was very important that we stay in the front of this one. This is a big one. And as you know, China is pushing forward and very strongly as usual. But we're way in the lead as we are in AI and other things, and we want to stay there. So I thought this was very important, and we have some brilliant people sitting around this table. And it's an honor to have you involved, but we want to stay at the forefront of everything. And this is a very important day in your lives. I know you worked, some of you, very long before people really understood what was happening. And so I congratulate you, but this is a big day. Being in the White House is a big deal, and you have great support. Thank you all very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, please. Thank you very much. Thank you, media. Thank you. Please.
Oh boy. All right. Love, right when he said, "Thank you, media," and then it's just big freeze. Oh man. Was that it? That wasn't the end, was it? No, Michael Saylor didn't get to talk. We're just there chilling. Like, I'm literally only watching this to hear what Michael Saylor had to say and educate the people about Bitcoin. I'm gonna refresh this. That's just NBC, bro. You're failing. He said GTFO media. Yeah. Well, here comes the red candles, right? Let's see. Let's go. Yeah, there you go. Well, we got buyer's momentum here. Let's see if it holds. Wow. So I got my chart all crunched up to fit that video for you guys, but you know, this buyer's momentum that's been holding up since we were down here on February 28th, around 78,000, and now we're testing it again, see if we hold it. And we could get a crazy candle here in SFP, but I don't think so. I don't think it's going to play it that way. Our next little key zone is down here where this orange line is in confluence of this uptrending momentum. So lots of bullish confluence here. Or maybe we'll hold off. Let's refresh this and see if we get anything working. The live stream has concluded. Well then. Did they cut things crazy short because of the constant delays?
Contributory cause of death.
Well, let's go to their actual website, nbcnews.com. What a bummer. So, if you guys ever ate a nothing burger before, that's what it was. Oh yeah, thanks Corey. You beat me to the punch. Well, big nothing burger. Yeah. That's crazy. I thought it'd be more than that. That wasn't great. Well, at least it happened, right? It happened. 30 minutes. It was supposed to be from 1:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. Instead, it was from like 3:30 to 4. So, yeah, it was great. NBC. Yeah, it's the same one we were at before. Yeah. Well, guys, I was hoping for more too. That sucks. Yeah, one thank you, and here you are, and goodbye. Manipulation plus rug pull. Well, the good news about them having a Bitcoin reserve is that they cannot lie on chain. And I know politicians love to lie, but if they can lie about what they are going to say they're going to do, but they cannot lie about what they're actively doing with their assets. So once we find out the Bitcoin reserve wallet address, we can track what they do with those funds. There are some kind of interesting rumors about potentially seeing the ability to pay your taxes with Bitcoin, and it'll make you exempt from capital gains tax if you pay your taxes with Bitcoin. So that's kind of interesting too. So that's one way they're going to be allocating more Bitcoin, assuming they hold the Bitcoin that they receive from those receipts and stuff like that. But John Z, sorry if I said your name wrong there. You're short on XRP? All right, well, we should have some weird aftermath after that. We're at an area of bullish confluence. We're at a previous value area high. We're at a uptrending level of momentum. We just tapped a 15-minute OR block, so we have some bullish confluence here. But if we lose this level, guys, it will probably be a harsh correction. We're also in an area where miners are close to capitulating, so meaning that they'll be it costs them more to make a Bitcoin than what Bitcoin's actually worth. So prepare for that as well. Like that technically is an indicator that you could use to tell you like areas to buy. Like you want to be buying in areas where miners typically capitulate, especially in a macro sense. We have internal downtrending momentum right here. So, but we don't really have very much structure to go off of for potential longs, other than if you got any of the sweep down here. So we might get a local SFP where you can prepare for longs. We can get a squeeze event for the next 2 hours, but I'm not going to be trading today. We're going into the weekend and weekend volume. We'll see what happens throughout the weekend, but I don't really typically like holding short-term trades over the weekend. So what was the overview of the meeting? A big nothing burger. What I was hoping for is them giving the mic to Mike Saylor and just educating, millions of people that were going to be watching this about what Bitcoin was, and to have a long-term impact to get more investor interest in Bitcoin. But we didn't get anything really. We just got introductions and some high fives, some verbal high fives. That's all we really got. So that's the overview. Nothing crazy. Their price impact, like short term, was bearish, but we were structurally bearish anyways for like the short term price action. So unless we break above this key level, it's going to stay bearish. So it didn't really cause a tremendous impact on anything. Obviously, it induced buyers when it first launched the summit, but those induced buyers just added liquidity for market makers to take. So if anything, the market makers just used it as a tool to grab some free money and exit their positions and enter new ones. What are your thoughts on that Bitcoin will be bought and sold by whales for a long time before the supply crunch really happens? Well, we can get that answer live, using on chain, and see how they're behaving right now. I'm going to adjust my screen once this loads so you guys can see. All right, I'm going to fix everything now because I kind of move things around so you guys can get a better view of the YouTube thing there. So I'm just going to move my OBS stuff. There we go. A little bit better. not great. So this is Chain Exposed. Chain Exposed is a free tool that you can use to like track the what's going on behind the scenes. So if we look at the whale wallets and see over here, when you're under address specific and you're looking at address bands balances, you can find out where the shrimps, the crabs, the fish, the sharks, and the whales, that's kind of the nicknames they gave based on like the amount of Bitcoin that you're holding. Now, what will define a whale will probably change when Bitcoin's reaches around like, let's say reaches around like $250,000 in value. Like a whale would be considered like a lower amount of Bitcoin at that point. But the whales right now, if we look at what they're currently doing, is they're selling. They have been selling for, we had a spike of buys when we had that crash around down to like the low, like the high 70s area. So we had some buyers there, but they sold once we retested this daily level right here. Let's zoom out. So whales bought down here, and we had that spike of whale activity, and then the whales then sold again and created a new lower low for whale wallets when we got to here. So this is basically whales causing all this crazy imbalance. So right now, whales are offloading some of their funds. They've been offloading ever since we've got to the February range. When we range from February to October, they started offloading quite a bit of their funds. And they're still kind of like offloading a bit here. But whales aren't the best indicator. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Whales are not the best indicator. I will be watching, was it the sharks or the fish? I think it's the fish. The fish usually have the best confluence for calling the bottom. Yeah, there we are. So the fish activity, they're like the smart money too. They sell at the tops and they rebuy at the bottoms, right? And they've been selling around here at these tops here, but now they're starting to accumulate again. Let's see what goes on there. But I would say the most important chart to watch, like it's not just the activity of what other people are doing, because this can be manipulated. This can be manipulated by them moving their funds to other wallets and stuff like that. So what I'd recommend watching is the like relative unrealized profits chart. This thing will give you a huge indication of when the bull market is going to end and when the bear market is going to end. I use this thing religiously to help call the exact tops and the exact bottoms. And I wouldn't be where I am at today if it wasn't for this chart. This chart has made me a lot of money. Use this in confluence with market structure and you'll be unstoppable. But yeah, guys, I'm going to head out. You want to be a fish? Well, you can be a fish, man. You just got to try. It takes a lot of work at first, but you'll get it. You just got to keep compounding, and just know when to call the tops. I have a video on YouTube for you guys that you could use. It's like something like a playlist that will teach you how to be a macro trader. And I talk about all my rules for calling the tops and the bottoms. And it's not too complicated once you just follow the same rules over and over and over again. This will help you remove the emotion, right? The range-bound activity that we got going on up here at these prices are helping reset the market. This is very, very healthy. This extends the bull market top every time we have these long-term ranges. We never had activity like this to help give Bitcoin a safe pace of growth. Typically, in a bull market rally, we sprint, get exhausted, and then we crash. Sprint, get exhausted, crash, over and over again. But now we sprint, and now we're like walking for a little bit. We're resting, and it's causing a reset, because what this chart is showing you is basically new investors coming in, old investors coming out, and it creates a balance and strong support to allow stronger and stronger continuations, and it gives us a good reset in the market. Our conditions based on our price right now is the same today as they were when Bitcoin was at like 55K. So our exhaustion point is as if we were at 55K right now. And if we were to go straight up today with a massive candle, we wouldn't get into the overheated zone until we reached around 150,000, 150K. But if we keep ranging, that top will keep going higher and higher. So we couldn't reach 200,000, 250,000 before we actually get overheated if we keep having this this consolidation. So we want to have this range-bound activity because it's insanely healthy for the market. And like Bitcoin never got the opportunity to have that kind of strength before, right? Alrighty. Well, I'm going to head out, guys. I really, really appreciate everyone who's followed and watched this. I think I had broken a record during this for the most amount of likes while being active in the live and the most amount of people who watched me consecutively in a row. So I appreciate everyone who helped me break that record. That was awesome. And you guys have yourself an amazing day. Trade safe. And for anyone who's in the part of the community, who I'll see you guys on Monday. We have a live as well. We're gonna be we'll be like looking at the charts to see what kind of setups we've got from the aftermath of the summit. Maybe after the weekend we might get a cool setup. Anyone who's a part of the community for like trade hunting, we got our next trade hunting call on Tuesday. We can prepare for our live trading where we're looking for trades together. You have a great day. More lives, please. Yeah, I can do more lives. I've gotten a lot of cool things automated now that takes a lot of my time. So I actually have more time to do some fun lives like this. But yeah, this is my first time ever doing like a watch react kind of thing. So I'm hoping you guys enjoyed it. I'm kind of a boring person when it comes to watching stuff because I don't want to like interrupt anybody or be too loud. But yeah, I'm excited to do more lives.